Hey guys, welcome back to another RotMG video, and this is going to be episode, I think, 16 of my Tinker Quest chest popping series. I actually have a topic this time around, and I think it is something that people have been asking of me for a while. Not just from RotMG, but even back in the MapleStory days, a lot of people have been asking me, like, what sort of separates whether or not you're being productive with your time if you're playing video games, and I consider myself a decent example of someone who has taken what many people would be considered as a waste of time, or a time sink, or I guess just an aimless hobby, so to speak, and turned it into something that actually can benefit me in my future financially, or even like in terms of connectivity and stuff like that. So we'll get into some pretty deep topic this time around, but nothing that you guys aren't used to. And yeah, let's just get started. Although I should mention that because school is going to be starting for me next week, or by the time you see this video, it will be maybe 1 or 2 weeks into the future already. Like, I'm recording this right now, it is August 27th. Chances are you will see this during mid-September, or like early September, so you'll probably have noticed by now that RotMG content is slowing down, mostly to me recording things that I can easily record, such as chest opening videos, because while it does take a lot of resources to get enough chests to make these videos, it also is the least amount of editing that I have to do, because all I really have to do is just cut out any dead space or stuff like that. And so if it feels like I'm doing nothing but making chest opening videos, I really do apologize for that. That's sort of like the only content I can make that doesn't drain too much of my time. And so therefore I hope that's alright with you guys. Although many people have expressed that they're pretty comfortable with my quest chest videos, there's still people who watch me only for my quest chest videos. I would like if you can watch all of my videos, but if you can only watch, or if you only watch like a select amount, then that's perfectly fine as well. Anyway, so for the topic of this video, we're going to be talking about how to make your hobbies more productive, your pastimes engaging and actually conducive towards some important part of your life, because as you guys know, the older you get, the less time you have to spend wasting and wandering around, because eventually when you get to the point where you have to start supporting yourself, it does become marginally more difficult for you to get the, or I guess not difficult, but it becomes more detrimental for you to spend most of your day doing nothing but playing video games or whatever hobbies you guys have, be it sports, culinary arts, artwork, or what have you. And for me, what I've done in my childhood after a lot of reflecting is I've noticed that despite me regarding YouTube as a hobby, it has actually amounted more to that, and I just didn't realize until I got older and I was able to understand a lot more. Because content creation, like many other things, is quote-unquote a form of art. Now, I am aware there are some content creators who it looks like they don't spend too much time making videos, whether it just be them reacting to certain things. But even in that regard, a successful content creator needs to have some sort of skill developed in order for them to attract a successful audience, correct? And the philosophy I have when it comes to hobbies is that there's always that, the old adage, it's not how much time you have, or it's not what you have, it's what you do with it. And there's this one parable from the Christian Bible, and don't worry, I'm not going to get too religious up in here, because the story actually relates, it has almost nothing to do with religion, it actually is more about just natural human condition. It was a story about this rich guy, like a noble or whatever. He owned a lot of land, he had servants, and he went on a trip. Before he left, he entrusted his 3 servants with sums of money. You guys might already know this if you are religious and you've read the Bible before when you were a kid or something. He entrusted 3 servants with money. 2 of them went straight away and invested that money, and they've doubled or even tripled their investment. But there was one of the servants, he didn't. Instead, he just buried his money for no particular reason, and when the master returned, he just presented the same amount of money. And while he didn't lose anything, the master was very displeased and disowned the servant and basically threw him out onto the streets. Because it was a test to see exactly how prudent he was with whatever he was given. The first 2 servants have passed, and therefore they kept their wealth that their investment, and even were promised more. Whereas the one who didn't just ended up losing pretty much everything, because back then, not everyone could afford, a roof over their head and stuff like that, so most people resorted to servitude to have kind of a free place to stay and food on the plate. despite that being a white bag, despite it being a white bag, alright, let's see. What are we gonna get? Boop. 2 whites. The quota has been met. I think that's like the 4th Pharaoh's Requiem I've ever gotten. But my point is, it's a very common and very well-known, I guess, life lesson that you always want to make the most out of what you've got. And for some people, or not for some people, for most people, they think of that in the sense that you have to make do with how little you have. Not exactly. It's also how much you have. There are a lot of people who are born or who have been gifted with a lot of privilege, a lot of good opportunities and stuff like that just because they were in the right place in the right time. But the ones who've truly made them work are the ones who've taken them all the way through. Because let's say you win the lottery, right? And we hear stories all the time about how lottery winners squander their earnings and stuff like that in a matter of days, or how super successful athletes who make millions of dollars in their contracts lose it all in a year or two. Part of that is their wasteful spending and financial illiteracy, but it's also that they didn't really make the most out of what they were given, especially since they were in a very luxurious and a very, I guess, opportunistic position. Now in my case, while I don't really consider my access to video games to be a privilege, because at that point sort of every kid in my generation pretty much had that access, whether or not you had a powerful computer or whatnot. And so, you know, that's kind of a moot point. But basically, whatever you do, whatever you indulge in, whatever your endeavors are, even if it's for your own pleasure, you can make it work for you. Take these chest videos, for example. I pop these chest videos all the time. I was doing quest chest openings ever since I played ever since they came out, right? I would just hoard them up and pop them all at once. So I was going to be doing this regardless of if I were doing realm videos or not. But instead, I chose to record it, and instead of making montages like just about everyone else, I, who enjoy a lot of, I enjoy commentary and I enjoy discussion. If you've been watching me ever since the Maple Store days, or like before I started doing realm this year, you would know that I get white bags whenever I make these videos. Alright, let's check out what we got. Honestly, I would like a different white other than Tomb. I know Tomb whites are the highest, but just please, something different, please. Oh, wrong. Coral Trap. I've gotten 2 of these from OTs recently, but nothing wrong with Coral Trap. But yeah, those of you who have been watching me for a long time, you would know that I really enjoy getting into deep discussion, stuff like that. That's something I do on a daily basis. So I took 2 things I enjoy doing and that I would have done regardless, which is making popping chest videos, or not videos, but popping a bunch of quest chests all at once, and mindless dribble, if you guys consider it anything productive. I mean, for me, some people say that I'm very philosophical, while I consider this just to be my daydreaming. I daydream a lot. And so I just took 2 things that I was going to do regardless and turned it into something productive, uploading it as a video for content for you guys to enjoy. It makes a little bit of money. These videos are monetized, but given that I'm used to tens of thousands of views usually, I don't get as much as I normally am comfortable with. So for the most part, I'm mostly doing this because it keeps me busy. But even if it doesn't provide you any sort of lucrative monetary compensation, it is still better, or you're still taking advantage of your pastime. And that applies to anything. If you really enjoy doing Legos, or whatever, let's say you enjoy Legos. You guys know that one RotMG YouTuber, Glef? I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. He is a big fan of Legos. I would love to see videos of him taking those big Legos that he buys and building them for us, because I used to love doing Legos as a kid. Or if you really enjoy fishing, maybe make a fishing channel. Like, you can show people like, hey, this is how you fish. Or if you're an athlete, you can show someone like, let's say you're a tennis player for varsity tennis in high school. Even if you're in high school, like, you can make some pretty good videos on, like, how to properly handle yourself in a competitive tennis match. Things like that. Whether you would make content out of it or maybe provide a service to some people, like if you are a big fan of drawing, maybe try opening yourself up for commissions, drawing for other people. What separates a lot of productive and successful people and those who aren't, it's not because they were born with some genius talent or because they had something super magnificent that, like, they're gifted by God or whatever. Nothing like that, really. I mean, those do contribute a lot, they do help, but mostly they did more with every mileage that they've gotten. Damn it. chances are a lot of people who have been very successful have had the exact same opportunities and the exact same things that you have on a daily basis that you take for granted. Only difference is they've done more with it besides indulging in themselves. There's nothing wrong with playing video games just for the sake of playing them or watching videos and stuff like that, but as long as you make it a habit to try to do more than just indulge in your pastime, that alone is what would make you more productive than like 90% of society. And in a way, that's sort of what keeps me going with YouTube. Even though I may not be making as many views as I used to, and I really wish I could, at least I'm doing something with my life, because a plan that I have, if you've been watching my League videos, or I've even been talking about it in my Realm videos, that I want to try to get my first job right out of college at Riot Games. And while not impossible, it is a pretty competitive industry, and Riot is, I'm sure they get tons of applicants every year. But I feel like one thing that I have that separates me from my competition is that I have a bunch of videos. Now, I'm not saying that content creation is a rarity. It certainly is a lot more prevalent than it was back in 2010 and such. But the discussion videos that I have, and I guess the videos where I go over certain aspects of the game, can serve as sort of a portfolio for me to present to the hires, or whatever the word is, for people who do the hiring process, to show them what I know, to give them some tangible form of evidence that I'm not just some kid who wants to come up with random ideas, that I actually know what I'm talking about. And it gives me an edge, because I would be playing League of Legends anyway, right? Unfortunately so. But at least I'm taking something that I genuinely enjoy doing as a pastime and finding a way to quote-unquote weaponize it. Now, I know the word weaponize is a bit aggressive, but that's kind of what you have to do. You need to utilize, or you have to find some way to mechanize your talents, your hobbies, because there could be the most genius, someone even smarter than Albert Einstein, or someone even more amazing than Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and stuff like that, or Elon Musk. There might be someone out there. There might be tens of thousands of people out there. But if they don't present themselves, then the world doesn't care, because for all they're concerned, the world doesn't, or for all the world is concerned, those people don't exist. It's not enough to have something going for you. You have to show people that you have something going for you. By that, I don't mean if you are really good at twerking on TikTok, then you should make videos about that. You should have some sense of self-dignity and whatnot. But my point is that the best way to kill two birds with one stone and be productive while enjoying yourself is to do just that. Find a way to do more than just what you're doing, whether it be in the form of making educational content. Like for me, I get really good at video games, and so I turn that into a way of teaching, because I do enjoy teaching. I love tutoring and mentoring. But if you're, let's say, an artist and a cook, she turned that into a YouTube channel to make very creative little artsy cookies and pastries and food and dishes. Okay, so we're gonna take a quick pause. I still have a couple more chests, but I'm running out of space, so I'm gonna go use all my potions and I'll be right back. Let's see, who do I want to max? Probably my assassin. Alright, so give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I should also mention that one thing that you should know, especially since I'm basically recommending you guys to make YouTube videos if you're talented in them. Ooh, is this going to be a Nectar Crossfire? Oh my god, it is! What? Okay, I was not expecting that. Let me pick these up first. Because I think I might actually... Yeah, I might. Let's check. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to find a Huntress. We'll use this one. Alright, one of my spare Huntresses, actually. I think I might actually have the full set for the Swarming Huntress. Ooh, I hope so. Let's go back to my other Huntress. There it is. Yeah, I do! That's the last piece I needed. Well, that makes this an episode, basically. Awesome! Let's try it. Oops. Oh, you guys ready for the big B? The big B booty? Look at that. Look at that tushy. How does the shot look? Wow, that's crazy. Look at it. Look at all those shots. What's the set on this? Oh, well, let's see. A lot of attack. That's for sure. A lot of dexterity. Yeah, this is like a very DPS heavy Huntress. Holy crap. I mean, you need to armor break the target, but still. That's another set finished. Wonderful. Alright, back to the wizard. Anyway, as I was saying before, if you ever do intend to start a YouTube channel or an Instagram account, like, I don't know, if any of my viewers are very physically attractive and they want to market that, because, you know, your looks are something that you can definitely market. I know everyone gets a bad rep for it because, like, oh, you're only famous because of your body and stuff like that, but I mean, that is an asset, technically speaking. But my point is that don't get too bogged down by views or subscribers or things like that, because YouTube is a premier example of how hard work and quality of craft does not always translate towards marketable success, because the algorithm is full of pardon my French. But what matters ultimately is that you put yourself out there, that you have some tangible means of presenting yourself. So if you ever go and apply for a job, if you have, you know, if you're trying to establish connections, like if someone's looking for a qualified editor, someone who's really good at maybe singing, or someone who's a good cook, or someone who's a good dancer or something like that. Even if you have YouTube videos or whatever that have only like 5 views, if the person you're showing it to is genuinely impressed, because it's not the views are not an indicator of how successful something is. It's whether or not the person viewing the video believes that it is worth something to be considered for. And for me, I'm pretty confident in what I'm talking about. You know, in my videos, I'm very confident that I have a lot of knowledge on Realm of the Mad God. I'm very confident that I have a lot of knowledge on just about any game I play, including League of Legends. And while I'm not entirely sure if it will, because, you know, there's no guarantees, I'm very confident that it will be integral to giving me sort of a higher chance or a stronger chance at getting hired for a job I really want to be hired in. So the point is, I guess the TLDR, the takeaway for this is that if you are watching, especially for those of you who are young, because I understand I have a lot of teenagers, if you are doing something that you really enjoy doing, even if it's video games, like, you know, if you're making if you're playing, let's say Fortnite, God forbid, if you're playing Fall Guys or whatever, and if you consider yourself very entertaining, try streaming, try YouTubing. I mean, it is very difficult to make content creation specifically for the sake of entertainment, because then in that case, your views, your followers, your likes, your subscriptions and stuff like that are a direct representation of whether you are successful. But if you do something productive with a marketable skill, for me, my commentary, my writing, because I make a lot of scripts for my videos, my editing, and my game knowledge, I can use that to help benefit myself in the future, actual practical skills. And that's why I do this, because I feel like even if it's just me playing video games, and even if I don't make that many views, I'm still building my craft, I'm still improving on myself, I'm still doing something productive, something I was already going to do. I was already going to play video games, I was going to be playing Smash Bros or League anyway, but I can do something more with it. And that to me is what helps give me the motivation to continue pushing forward, even if my quote-unquote success, in terms of if I make a lot of money or if I gain a lot of popularity, will not be coming anytime soon. Who knows, maybe I might get a big break and my channel will explode. But if it doesn't, I still am doing something productive with it that I can use to better myself in the future and to prepare myself and to give myself a greater advantage than other people. Okay, so that was a really deep conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I think, yeah, just once again for the updates though, that I'm gonna be probably cutting down on my non-quest chest opening videos or my non-live commentary. So post-commentary things like guides and stuff like that, you might be seeing them a lot more infrequently, depending on when I publish this video, because I like to record a lot of videos in advance. But if you have enjoyed, a rating would be much appreciated, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you are looking into doing something like this, if you're looking into doing something more productive with your time and your pastime, or for those of you who already are, let's say when you were a kid you really enjoyed sports and now you're doing it for a living, let me know, I'd love to read them. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon for the next video. Take care.